This is the Cliff Yates Show. Personal growth, motivation, inspiration, and philosophies for a great life.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Cliff Yates Show. And as always, you know where you're at. You're in the right place. I'm going to brainwash you today. You're going to get brainwashed. I'm just kidding you. I'm brainwashing myself. What is brainwashing, right? But the radically changing the way someone thinks, believes, acts, and gets them to radically adopt a new behavior. And we always think about, when I think about brainwashing, I'm thinking about secret agents or people kidnapping someone or people that are getting, looped into a cult, right? And they get brainwashed into radically changing their beliefs, their values, and their actions. And always, let's face it, it's in a negative light. It's in a negative point of view. It's when we think about brainwashing, oh man, she's been brainwashed or he's been brainwashed. That's why he's acting this way. Why can't it be in a positive light, in a positive way? Why can't we brainwash ourselves with positive thoughts, radically changing our thoughts, behaviors, values in a positive way? Hey, why are they all of a sudden, man, they seem to be really doing really well. Man, I love that they're exercising, they're reading books, and they're getting involved in this and that. And it seems like they really turned their life around. Oh, they've been brainwashed. Well, we can brainwash ourselves. That's what we're talking about today. I've been following someone. Well, not following. I was watching this gentleman, Chase Hughes, on Joe Rogan, and he was on the Sean Ryan show, and he's a neuroscientist, right? The study of the brain and how we think, right? Our beliefs. And he went to Harvard. I think he has a PhD, but he's got continuing education in the field, a neuroscientist. Then he had a brain disease, and I think he is out of it or in remission now, but he's just full on. And he started, coaching people in the military. He started coaching businesses, football teams in an operations manual. Basically, he has a book, an operations manual for your brain, how you think, right? And we've been talking about in other episodes about this, right? If you can get control of this, right, that's going to change your life. And I took 5 pages of notes with this guy the other day when I was watching him. And you know what? It has a lot to do with goal setting, writing down goals, and really vision, right? We talk about all the time, right? Having vision. Where there is no vision, people perish. Talk about that. It's kind of a biblical thing. And so I don't know where you're listening to the show today, whether it's on one of the podcast platforms. We're all over the place. Or you're maybe watching or listening on YouTube. And if you are not, after you're done listening on an audio platform, head on over to YouTube. I film all of the sessions and subscribe to the channel. We are building a community of progress, bigger and better all the time. Now, if you are a creator, if I could speak, that would be one good thing. If you're a creator, you get caught up in the numbers, right? Sometimes our numbers are big, sometimes they're very small, and we can get caught up in the numbers, wanting bigger numbers, which is natural, right? That's a question we should be asking ourselves, taking an audit of our lives and what we're doing. How am I doing? Can I do better? Right? An unexamined life is not worth living, one of the philosophers said. That's why every night, really, you should take a look at your day. How did I do today? What did I have planned? Maybe something got me off course. Sometimes life happens to us, even though the best laid plans don't come through. But so how did I do? How could I do better tomorrow? That's always good. Take an audit of yourself and your life. I talked about the other day, taking an audit of your 5 closest people you're hanging around, right? I'm hanging around those negative people, but they do not affect me. Oh, no, they do affect you. They will affect your thinking, your behavior, your actions, which is going to affect the results you're getting. So let's start brainwashing ourselves for a more positive, a more exciting life. And the notes that I took, a lot of these are interrelated to things that we've already learned or maybe we've learned in the past, and it's good to remember them or look at them from a different perspective, from a different point of view. When we meet somebody, it's really a good idea to see the situation that's happening in front of us from 3 different perspectives, right? From our side, of the equation, how we're looking at this, and also from the other person. How are they perceiving me as I approach them? How are they perceiving the situation? And then from a distance, from a perspective of a third person looking on the situation, looking at both of you, or looking from a disassociated position, or maybe from the position of a drone view, right? Helicopter view overhead. So you got those three. If you can get those three in your head, it can probably give you a more accurate perspective of what's really happening and maybe affect how you should be, communicating with the other person. That's a really good way of looking at things, really, from different perspectives. What if I moved my perspective from here to there to up there and back again, and just maybe keep, switching it around. Something good to be open to new ideas and new ways of looking at things are really important. I was talking about the numbers. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small. We can get caught up in how can I reach more people? How come more people aren't watching? How can I get more? And that's a good idea. How can I do better in the show? Maybe I can do better in my content. Maybe I can do better in the filming, the sound. Can I do better in the tags? Can I do better in promoting the show on social media? But the most important thing is the message that we're sending out if you're a creator. But also in today's world, because I think in most recent years, we've all done a great job in trying to get to such a polished product. Hey, we have so many tools available to us now that we're able to, when you think about the fact that you can film, you can create a full-length feature motion picture on an iPhone. You can have the highest quality sound. You can get lenses and filters on your iPhone that it looks so cinematic. And the editing software is so affordable, if not free, that you can edit, film, and you can lay different tracks, not only soundtracks, sound effects, background music. And to such an extent, you can get such a polished product out there that sometimes that can hamper us in not doing anything at all. It's not quite perfect yet. And I know we talked about these kind of concepts before. I think it's important to shoot for perfection with the knowledge that perfection doesn't exist. It's okay to shoot for that height, but don't let that stop you from going forward. Start right where you're at, and you can always improve along the way. Don't wait for it to be as perfect as it can. The most important thing, and what I was trying to, as I interrupt myself, the most important thing I think in today's realm of creativity and communication with other people is, it's good to audit yourself. Pay attention to the numbers, but don't let that hamper your creativity or putting a message out there. But also with AI, the advent of AI and the advancement in AI and how that can assist you and help you and actually create more time for you. But now we're getting to the point where you look at a video, is this real or is it not real? Because we can actually create some great videos and pictures that I can't tell if they're real or not. That's how good some of these AI creations are getting. And some of them are so entertaining. You find yourself going down a rabbit hole and watching these things because, wow, this is so amazing. I know this is not real. Or is this real? You question it. So now I think it's really just as important to be, who knew that we would come to a period of life with really authenticity. The easiest thing for you to be is authentic, yourself, to be yourself, to put yourself out there without being fake. That's the easiest thing to do. And we do everything we can to not be authentic, not be the real person, right? So many people putting on the filters, changing how they look. And you can see these people, and I go, I know this person's 65. They look 40, but I know that's a filter. I mean, that's nice, but it's almost getting to the point where we want authenticity so badly that we, just turn the camera. We want to see raw footage. We don't want to see that polished product. And that's where that's why I think people that are going live on social platforms, live on YouTube, doing the podcast live, first of all, it's easier, right? You don't have to edit so much. You just put on the camera, you go live, and now you can interact with your audience. You can take comments. And so that's real exciting if that's your thing, and it should be your thing. We're not live today. Today I'm recording this, but this will be unedited because I'm not going to take the time to edit it. I just think it's so important now and in our communication with people, whether it's a podcast like this or just going to lunch with somebody, be authentic, authenticity, the real you. Don't try to, our best friendships are when we're willing to be vulnerable with other people and say, man, this is what I'm going through. These are the great things that are happening for me. Hey, this is the negative thing that's happening for me, because the other person empathetically, compassionately can say, hey, listen, I've gone through this. I know somebody who went through that. Let me give you my point of view on this. And, I'm so happy that you trusted me with being your authentic self. And then that just deepens our relationships when we're not fake and false. Some people criticize, fake book, when they talk about social platforms and how people put forth their fake lives and they're just showing their positivity and all the positive things. Well, in a way, I like that. I like that people are putting forth positive things and they're focusing on positive things. That's a good thing. And I don't think by doing that, you're discounting that the rain does come, that the sadness does come. But hey, listen, we do what we can to override that, brainwash ourselves for a great, extraordinary life. I talked the other day on a short video that I did. We almost think to have an extraordinary life, we have to do extraordinary things, when in fact, and I had to remind myself this, the important thing for an extraordinary life is doing ordinary things in an extraordinary manner. That's why we need to really reel it in. Instead of focusing on 47 different things, instead of reading 47 different books this year, read 3 over and over again until they become a part of you, until you really adopt what the lessons are in those 3 books instead of the 47. And so let me go through some of the notes I got from this Chase Hughes. Check him out. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he's been involved in brainwashing, getting how police officers, and I've talked about this before, and how we get people to admit, how we get people to believe something, say something, do something that's really not in their best interest. That is true manipulation, right? Well, listen, why don't we manipulate ourselves in a positive way? And so I love on the goal setting to set the destination in mind. Use the metaphoric vision of a map. Get a destination of where you want to go so that you can see it in your head, see it in your mind's eye, right? That's where I want to go, right there. Where am I? I'm here. I want to go there. And now I can start. And I can start knowing that I'm going in the right direction, because I know through a vision board in my mind, or a vision board that I'm continually looking at, that I see the destination and I know that I'm going in the right direction, right? If you know that you want to go east, right, and while you're traveling, you're seeing the sunset, you've got to be smart enough to know and auditing enough to know, shit, I'm going west. And now you can turn around and head back east, because you have a destination on your map, your goals that you set down for yourself. So I like this concept that he talked about, writing down our goals. And writing down is important for a couple different reasons, right? You're really employing a couple different modalities of learning, right? You're actually, kinesthetically, you're feeling the pen, the piece of paper, or even if it's an electronic journal, you've got the stylus, you're writing. And now visually you're seeing what you're writing down. It's creating pictures in your mind, so it's visual. You can read it out loud to yourself, right? So now it's auditory. And when you put all those things together, it does what we call activate your reticular activating system. I was going to talk about this later. It's in the notes, but it just came to my mind. So why not deal with it right now while it's in my head? Your RAS, your reticular activating system. What does that mean? It means you've told your brain this is important to me. And so your brain, your subconscious mind, is going to start working in the background to make things happen for you. Even subconsciously, without you realizing it, your subconscious mind is working in the background because you've told it, this is important to me. This has meaning to me. I've attached strong emotions to this. the why I'm going in this direction, the why this is on my map of achievement, the why has been communicated to my subconscious brain so accurately and so vividly that my subconscious mind has taken it now. This is important to you. I'm on the move. Now, you do this subconsciously all the time, right? They frequently use this example of when you buy a new car or used car. When you buy any car, right, you research, you're looking at pictures of those cars. You're online looking at pictures of the cars. You're imagining yourself in that car. Why do I like the car? You keep communicating yourself, right? Self-talk about the car, especially the overwhelming rapidity of those visions you're putting in your head about the car. Maybe you go and you look at the car, you feel it, you touch it, you go to the dealership, right? You get money aside, you plan, how am I going to pay for this? What am I going to do with this car? Where am I going to go with the car? That's how you've communicated the importance of this to your subconscious mind and your conscious mind alike. And then you buy the car, or somewhere along the line, you may even say to yourself, geez, I've wanted this Mustang for so long, this red Mustang. And now all of a sudden, I swear to God, the last week, I've seen 500 red Mustangs. Everywhere I go, I see red Mustangs. That's your reticular activating system. Your RAS has been activated in your brain that's important to you. So now your brain is paying attention to red Mustangs. You've always seen those red Mustangs, visually, consciously, but your brain is always doing three things, right? Your brain is always generalizing, deleting, and distorting. Your brain is constantly generalizing, deleting, and distorting. Why? Because your brain is always efficient. How can I decide what's important and what I need to pay attention to, and the things that I don't, that I know are no longer important, I cannot pay attention, and that increases, right, the effectiveness of the processing of thoughts in your brain. And that's what we do when we activate the RAS, reticular activating system. Your brain does it naturally to be efficient. Your brain works wonderfully. Use it. Your brain is just amazing. It's just amazing. But activating the reticular activation system, we do it, not consciously, accidentally, right? When we're looking to buy something, we're researching something. That's how we tell the subconscious mind, this is important to us. The same goes for praying, right? When we're praying incessantly, talking to God, crying out to God, you're telling God, this is important to me. And then God hears your prayers. Ask and it shall be received. Knock and the door shall be opened. So incessantly, you're telling God what you want. He hears all our prayers. But he knows better than we do. And so sometimes we have to thank God, like the song goes, for unanswered prayers. But it's important. Why not on purpose? Why not with intention activate our reticular activation system? It's a way of brainwashing ourselves to radically change how we're thinking. And, we can't have two opposing thoughts in our brain at the same time. That's why it's constantly important in your morning routine, right? Jump out of bed, change your physiology, and just think immediately, what am I grateful for in my life? You cannot be grateful, aggravated, and frustrated, and angry at the same time. So be grateful in the morning. Put that thought in your head. What am I grateful for? Asking those powerful questions. Now, one thing I don't do, which I'm going to start doing, is Chase Hughes said to really, when you're writing down your goals, also write down what your least desired outcomes are. What I don't want to happen. Right? Write down vividly in your goals, your vision board, your goal card that you carry around with you all the time. This is what I don't want to happen. What happens if I don't change? If I keep doing the same things I've been doing, I'm going to keep getting the same results. What happens if I don't take the actions? What happens if I don't start that business? If I don't reach out? If I don't step out? If I don't start that exercise program? What's going to happen if I don't do these things? So write those also down in your goals when you're goal setting. And it's really more important than goal setting is in process setting, right? Setting the processes in action, focusing on those things, right? Focusing on the things that we can control instead of the things we can't control. So I'm learning and writing goals Also write down the least desired outcome, right? Because if nothing changes in our thoughts, nothing's going to change in our lives, right? If we don't change, nothing is going to change for us, everybody. You know this already. That's why you're part of my community of progress. You're already there. I know it, right? The brain operates in two ways. Now, Chase Hughes said this, but of course, Tony Robbins talks about this all the times. Our motivation really is always anchored in two pulls or pushes, right? We're trying to avoid pain and gain pleasure. Sometimes avoiding pain is the biggest motivator, more than the gaining of pleasure. But we have to brainwash ourselves. We have to brainwash our mind to be doing the right things. And we can use pain and pleasure in motivating ourselves, in brainwashing ourselves to radically change our behavior, our beliefs, our thoughts, which changes our actions, which changes the results we're going to get. Right? It's not, right? A lot of times we think about the pain. I know people, they don't go to the dentist, right? They don't want the scraping. They don't like the sound, the pain. Oh, I know, I haven't gone to the dentist in so long. It's going to be painful when they floss and they grind off the plaque. And I want to avoid that. And they're not thinking of the bigger pain. What's going to happen if I don't do this, right? If you've had extractions, if you had root canals, you've had dental implants, right? And you think, wow, I don't want to go through this pain. What can I do to avoid this pain in the future? Yeah, and you realize what I can do is I can floss, right, on a regular basis. Every day I'm flossing. Every night before I go to bed, I'm definitely flossing and I'm brushing my teeth. Can I do more? Maybe I can floss in the morning and brush in the morning, same at night. I can do that. The pain, the discipline of that pain is going to be so much better than the taste of shitty regret later when you have to have that root canal or that extraction. You think, I should have went through the light pain of prevention, of health maintenance. Pain and pleasure. I think Tony Robbins talks about we'll do more to avoid pain than we will for pleasure, but it's important to brainwash ourselves for a more positive way of thinking and acting using pain and pleasure. Knowing how our brain works, we can brainwash ourselves in a good way. So when you're writing these things down, right, describe in vivid detail. That's so important. We need to describe things in vivid detail so that when we read them and we say them out loud, it creates a picture in our mind. A vivid detail of where we will arrive if we continue with our current habits and mindset, our current worldview. Now, why is it necessary? Chase Hughes says this is necessary to paint this picture of negativity, really, of, hey, if we don't do these things, if we still continue to do what we've been doing, if we don't do the things we know we need to do, where will we arrive? Why is this important? Why is it necessary? And he said because our brain needs contrast. We need to see the contrast. That reminds me of a story someone told. They called back to their mom and said, Mom, I went out with this guy. I got pregnant. I'm having a baby. We're getting married next week. I'm going to have to quit school. And the mom is crying and going crazy. And finally the daughter says, listen, I'm just joking. But I did get a D in math. And all of a sudden, the contrast, the mother is really ecstatic about the D. Now, that's all. Is that all? Is that all that happened, huh? I'm so happy that is. So the brain needs contrast. I like that. So, yeah, we need to write down our visions, our vision board, to see things where we want to go, a destination in mind, our mind mapping. But write down in vivid detail what's going to happen if we stay doing what we're doing or we stay on the path we're on. We don't take the action we know we need to take. Because the brain needs contrast. We need to activate our brain toward goals. And so we got to know how unbearable it is if we stay the same. We have to paint a picture. This is unbearable to us. If I stay where I'm at right now, stagnant in some of my beliefs, my actions, my moral values, if I stay in the habits that I'm currently in, the results of this is going to be, I'm not going to take this. As a matter of fact, that happened to me. That's how I got on the road to personal growth and self-improvement and development and put money in my pocket, created great relationships and a great, extraordinarily life because I said, I'm not doing this anymore. This is unbearable. I told my brain, no more, not one more day. But the most important thing to focus on, write down new habits, new beliefs, and the goals are going to be the side effects or the byproduct of the new traits and too much we focus on our goals. Now, it's good to focus, get in our head, in the vision board, what we want to do. But it's the most important to focus on the beliefs, the rituals, the habits that we have total control over. And we have to focus on doing those things, creating those positive rituals, positive beliefs, positive values that draws us to doing those things on a daily basis. And the goals that we achieve are going to be a byproduct of doing those things. And that kind of goes back to focusing not so much having the outcome goals, but focusing more on the process goals, right? I'm going to reverse engineer the end goal. I'm going to begin here with the end in mind, right? As Stephen Covey says in his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I'm beginning with the end in mind, but I'm going to reverse engineer back to today, what I need to be doing today. And by focusing on those things, because I'm in total control of those daily things that I can do today, keeping in mind where I'm going, but I have no control over that outcome. So instead of focusing too much on the outcome, I have control over the habits, beliefs, and the systems I can put in place today that are going to cause a side effect of the achievement of my goals. My goals are going to be achieved, but it's a side effect of the processes, of the actions I took. This stuff can get exciting, guys, if you adopt them, if you take the actions, if you change the beliefs. And I have every confidence that you can. Listen, if you haven't already, stop. Shameless promotion on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please share this with somebody who needs to hear it. Somebody that you want to have a positive impact on, a positive persuasion. You want to have a positive effect on their lives. Share this video with them. Have them look at it. If not for what I'm talking about, if anything, for the people that I've adopted their philosophies, their thought processes, the Tony Robbinses, Dean Graciosis, the Chase Hughes that I'm just barely looking at right now, who's into how we think and to brainwashing ourselves in a positive way. We see how people get people into cults, right? And they change their thinking. They get to be, it's really a tribal mentality, right? We're kind of bred for that, for self-preservation, to like being a part of the tribe. We don't want to get kicked out of the tribe. And sometimes that affects our actions in a negative way because we don't want to be kicked out of the tribe. So we've kind of put aside what we know is the proper way of thinking. We have to guard against that. We have to guard our hearts and our minds in that regard. And that's important stuff. I appreciate what you're doing. You're taking the time to adopt these beliefs, abilities that you're creating to create an extraordinarily life. I can't really talk that well today. To create an extraordinary life. What is not only great for you, but those around you, your family, your friends, your acquaintances. It's going to bring people into your life that you haven't even met yet, are going to be attracted to the energy, to the vibrations that you bring into a room, that you bring into the world. We have total control over our activity goals, and that's why we need to focus on those so that the goals that we've set for ourselves are going to be a side effect. They're going to be a byproduct of everything we do, right? Instead of focusing, I'm just looking every day at the body that I want, about the health that I want. That's important to have that vision, outcome in mind, but more importantly, that I'm focusing on the process. I got to get into the gym. I got to join a gym. I got to have a workout program, a regimen. I got to know that I'm doing these things on a daily basis. I'm controlling the food that I buy and eat and the timing of those things. And then the byproduct is going to be a strong, physical, healthy body. The byproduct is going to be those things. It's going to be a byproduct. It's going to be a side effect of the exercises that I do, the nutrition policy that I've adopted for myself. My personal philosophy that I've adopted has the biggest impact on my life and those around me. Goals are destinations. They are habits and behaviors. No, goals are destinations. So it's good. Our goals that we write down are going to be the byproduct, side effects of our activities, of our belief systems, and our behaviors, right? So goals are the destinations in mind on the map. The habits and the behaviors, they're the vehicle to the goal. They're going to get us. So if you're watching, like on the Game of Life, that board game, picture a board game. That's what I'm doing today. I'm going to picture my own, the Game of Life board game. Part of our brainwashing today is to get this visual. Very important, because we're going to be telling our subconscious mind, we're activating the RAS. This is important to us, right? So the destination on that board game, right there, the Game of Life, there's the destination. Those are my goals right there at the end. Now, my behaviors and my habits daily, that's the vehicle taking me to the goal. That's the little car on the Game of Life with those little pegs. I got the wife here. I got the kids here in the car. I'm driving the car. I'm driving the car. You're driving the car on that Game of Life. It's a good visual to get. Put that visual in your head. It's good for a vision board. Write it down. Create it. Get a loop of videos, of pictures in your mind, or that you want in your mind. Get it on your TV so the scrolling. That's what you're looking at all the time. That's what you're putting in your head. Write a detailed list of your current habits, your behaviors, your beliefs. And make a detailed list of the least desired outcomes. So important. Your habits today. Make a list of habits and beliefs. Make these things painful. The ones that if you continue doing these things, really see the pain this is going to cause. If I continue doing what I'm doing, if this bad habit here, right, this neglect right here is going to lead to neglect in other areas, what's that going to lead to me in 3 years, 5 years? Feel the cost of that inaction. Make sure that that is very painful, that is a true driving force, that you really are, you have an aversion to that being the outcome of your life. Oh no, no way in hell is that going to be the end result. No way. That's going to drive you in those two roads. You're going to make damn sure that your habits and beliefs are taking you to this desired city and not disaster city. You're not going there. No way. It's not even, you can't have that happen. He talks about the mammalian brain. That's something we can really study, right? The mammalian brain. That's part of, he's really in, I think it's important. We don't get an operating manual for our brain, and we really need it. We all have great brains that'll take us to wherever we want it to take us. You know, our Creator gave us a brain, unlimited, everybody. We can do it. We need to brainwash ourselves into new habits, new behaviors, which is going to cascade into so many new actions with different results. It may be uncomfortable. Okay, new actions, new habits, new results, uncomfortable, but we got to become more comfortable being uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. He talks about 4 elements. Don't forget, we're brainwashing ourselves today, everybody. We're brainwashing ourselves into a positive direction, to positive beliefs, to positive habits, positive actions. Start brainwashing yourself today, not tomorrow. We can't wait. He talks about 4 elements that cause the mammalian brain into taking action. And he has a textbook. It's available on Amazon. I did not get it. It looked like it was only available in paperback, and it was like $150 or something. The Behavior Ops Manual. But listen, all these concepts and beliefs are available for free. We just need to adopt them. So he calls it the FATE model, which is focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. And he says that all marketing, all companies utilize the FATE model when they want you to buy something. Focus, right? Authority. So focus on goals. That's important. We got to focus on goals, but more importantly, right, we see the end result. But now we're going to reverse engineer that back to what we need to be doing today. The habits and rituals and beliefs that we need today that are going to get us to the end goal. We need to focus on the vehicle. Right? You keep your vehicle in great shape. You change the oil because we want it to keep us in motion, to keep us going, to get us to where we want to get to go. And what can we do today? We can wash the car, change the oil, keep it full of gas. We can do all sorts of things. So the fate model, focus. The next is authority, right? We're going to leverage by looking at people, maybe modeling people that have already done what we want to do. Hey, this person has already accomplished what we want to accomplish. And so now we can actually fast forward. They wrote a book on what they did, the actions they took. And so it gives me social proof that this will work. This can happen for me because this person did it. That person did it. I can actually focus on what they did, maybe get similar results, right? I can change my belief systems. I can see and hear what they've said and done in the past. Now I can actually model them. So that's authority. That's social proof. Tells our brain, and that helps us adopt, okay, it can be done. It's already been done once. If someone's done it, I can do it. Right? Nobody broke the 4-minute mile. And as soon as somebody did, social proof, the 4-minute mile can be broken. And then all of a sudden, hundreds of people have broken the 4-minute mile. When before, nobody did. Social proof, authority, showed people, and their brain adopted the belief system. I can break the 4-minute mile. Somebody else already did. Tribe in the fate model, focus, authority. Now tribe. Involve your circle of friends in what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're saying. Why? It really forces them into being, whether they like it or want it, accountability partners, right? You know, there is one philosophy that, hey, I'm not going to tell anybody what I'm doing because they can't see my vision. They can't really understand what I'm trying to do. And so family and friends are going to say, out of protection of me, hey, be careful doing that. You know, the chance of you winning is very similar. I don't want to see you hurt. So that's one philosophy. Another philosophy is, and if you've surrounded yourself with the right kind of people, right, then this is going to be important to do. Share your goals. Hey, this is what I plan on doing. This is where I'm going. Let me share this idea with you. If you have any thoughts on this, any input, I'll take it in. I'm open-minded, open-hearted, but this is where I'm going. This is the kind of system I've set up. These are the goals, and I'm starting to work on this today. And so now, without them knowing it, they're accountability partners, right? Because you know in your mind, well, listen, I already told this person this is where I'm going. I really need to keep going there because I've told people that's where I'm going. You know, how embarrassing. I said I was going to do these things and then I didn't follow through. That's not who I am. I'm not one of those people, right? I have an identity of habit, right? I have an identity in my habitual. I'm one of those people that I do what I say I'm going to do, right? You can count on me. I'm dependable. I've established the characteristics or my own personal character, my personal integrity. That's how you know me, and I'm not going to violate that. That would be unbearable for me to go against my principles and values, especially since now I've shared them with my tribe. And so now they're going to hold me accountable. They may verbally meet with me. Or when we talk on the phone, hey, how you doing with that thing you're working on? How's your goals coming? I know it's important that you've wanted to do these things. How's that going? Right? So now you know people are going to ask questions. Hey, you know what? I want to have something great to say when they ask me. Oh, I remember taking an acting class. And so every week, the beginning of our acting class was to go around the circle and to explain to people what we did to promote our acting career that week. And so, man, you always wanted to have something to say. And so that was an accountability partner. It really propelled you into doing certain things, even on days you didn't want to do them. You know, I don't feel like memorizing. I don't feel like reading this play. You know, I'm going to go to a movie and study. You know, I'm going to look at this movie from a director's point of view. I'm going to take notes on this movie, you know, on scene structure. You know, I'm going to, buy a book of plays. And I'm going to start reading a play and breaking down the scene And so now when you get to your accountability group, your acting class, you can say, this is what I did, this week. On Monday, I went to a movie, and I actually looked at the movie from this point of view. So tribe, and change it. Hey, if you don't have a good tribe, change it. If you don't have a good inner circle of friends, change them, right? We're not going to disassociate or cut off people totally, but right, if they are constantly taking from the relationship, they're not inputting anything, then maybe we can limit our exposure to them or with them. We can spend more time in cultivating new friendships, new inner circle people. Let's see what I wrote down here from Chase Hughes. Friends and social circle, very much involved. Oh, as I said, they are our accountability partners. All right, last on the fate model is emotion. Create emotional attachment to your future self. Make pictures of your future self. People can't see their future self. We have to make this happen. Right? So that's part of the vision board, seeing ourselves in that position. That's why we do things like, we wanted the beach house, my wife and I. We got to the beach. We got the beach house on the beach. About a year prior to that, what we did, we wrote it down. We had a vision board. We saw pictures of houses on the beach. We came out here to Florida, right, just 4 miles from where we live now on the beach. We vacationed here on the beach. So that daily we were going on the sand, feeling the sand, walking up, look at those houses there. Wouldn't it be great to live there? We're going to live there. We're going to live in a place right on the sand. We're having our meal at night as we think about these things, what we did throughout the day on our vacation here. We are going to be taking in that sound of the ocean crashing, right? All night long. God, we can hear the ocean. We're going to hear that in our beach home, our beach house. So having that vision, that's seeing ourselves, our future self. So that's an emotion that we attach to it, right? And we can use anchoring. I talk about that in our NLP training, right? Anchoring emotions, right? So we can take positive music that really drives us, that gets us changing how we move, how we feel, with the visions in our head. And now we take a physical action and we marry that. In other words, we take that physical action as we're feeling what we're feeling as we play that music, feeling what we're feeling and make the move, feeling what we're feeling and make the motion. And we do that, we anchor that, and now later on we can play that music and now we feel that emotion. Later on, without the music, we take that, we make that movement with our hand, and now we feel that emotion. On demand, we can create that state. I start talking fast and getting excited because I've married together this neuroassociative conditioning and how we can create these positive anchors in our life, positive brainwashing, right? We can change our beliefs, habits, thinking, actions in a positive way radically, right? Not in a cult fashion, but to propel us towards our goals so that they will be achieved as a side effect by product. And it says right here in my notes from Chase Hughes yesterday when I was studying this, choose 3 new habits to adopt right away. 3 powerful, impactful habits to enlist right today. And you know what? They can be small. They can be tiny habits, but it's going to give us momentum. Oh, that's not a very big habit to adopt. No, hey, just pick 3 that are very important, impactful, and what they will do for your life. But listen, adopt them right away today. Why? Because we know as soon as that's habituated, we're going to replace it because we're no longer, if it's truly become a habit, we no longer have to think about it, write about it, concentrate on it, or focus on it because it's habituated. Now it makes room. It makes room in our life for new habits. We can adopt. Now we're in momentum of adopting new habits. And now we got that dopamine hit, right? Of adopting, of checking off the box. Hey, we've adopted that habit. I do that all the time without thinking. You know what? I got to take a break from work. Working out and exercise has become such a habit. I can't go 2 or 3 days. I'll get anxiety without working out. So it's amazing. My habitual habit of exercising, working out for the past 55 plus years, and I know a lot of my friends have the same habits, that now 2 to 3 days without working out creates anxiety in my body. And now, I mean, you got people who have never exercised, and the thought that they have in 2 or 3 days, I got to go to the gym, they have anxiety in thinking about exercising. Flip it around. Change it. You don't like the habits you got? Change it. You don't like the friends you got? Change it. You don't like where you're living? Change it. You are free in this country. You want to live somewhere else? Change it. You want a different job? Change it. There are many jobs open today. You want to start a business? Change it. There are so many businesses that you can start today, right? Part-time, made $1,000 this month, part-time. Hey, what are you doing? I got this little product that I love, right? I'm marketing this part-time. Made $1,000 last month, part-time. Still doing my full-time job, have my security of that full-time. Part-time made that. Wow. That becomes an exciting thing. I'm going to get to the point where I do that full-time because that's my passion. I love it. I don't even notice the hours I spend doing it. It's exciting. Can you feel it? I hope you can. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, everybody. Join this community of progress. I got so many positive thoughts coming in my brain, everybody, that my thoughts cause my words to trip over my tongue. I can't keep up with them. That's why I consciously have to slow down so that I can be understandable, not only to myself, but for you. All right, so we got new habits, right? They only require daily disciplines for a short time. New habits. Adopt 3 damn habits right away. And they only require daily discipline for a short time because they're going to be habituated. Once those habits have been adopted in your family of habits, I came up that with myself. Create a family of habitual actions. Now you can start with this momentum of adding new habits and daily disciplines to adopt those. And we stack those. We're going to stack those successes. We're going to stack them one on top of each other. And next thing you know, you just have momentum and wins. Some days we just have micro wins. Why don't we have mini wins? Did you win today? Yeah, I won today. I made my bed. I got up. Man, I called 3 friends. I sent 4 messages to encourage people in my life. I got to the gym. I read a book that I've been meaning to get back to. I studied. I got into the Word, the Bible. I got alone with God today. Look at all those wins that I accumulated. Sometimes we just have to accumulate micro wins, small wins. Small hinges turn big doors. There's somebody that I studied. I got to get, but that was the visual, right? Small hinges turn big doors. And it was the metaphoric image that was inspired by that saying to me was a tiny rudder turns an enormous big ship, right? Those big freight liners, they're actually turned by tiny rudders. It's those tiny habits that turn our life in a big positive way. Tiny habits, tiny adopted, habituated habits and thoughts and beliefs that turn our life in a big way. They're tiny little things, and they seem insignificant, yet they turn our life in a big way. Boy, that's exciting. I'm getting excited just thinking about that. I can't wait to take on the rest of my day with powerful habits and beliefs, and some that I've just recently adopted, I may adopt in the next 10 minutes. Right? And then, so listen, small rudder turns a giant ship. One of my notes, up early, right? What can we do? What are those small daily habits, small disciplines that I can do? What can I do right now? What can I adopt right now? Those 3 habits and beliefs, what are they? Getting up early, right? Daily walks. How about a morning Bible read? Any linchpin that's going to get us moving in the right direction towards that goal, that game of life board. Keep looking at that board. One idea inspired by these notes that I took, one idea that I'm going to adopt is the vision board, number 1 on my computer, on my phone, right? Photos that's going to draw me toward that goal so that I'm taking those daily actions and disciplines and habits. It's going to move me in that right direction. But also I'm going to create and I'm going to use a looping video loop on my TV, so that if I'm sitting there on the couch having a glass of water or a glass of wine, this is the images that I'm putting in my brain. I'm putting on my vision board right? A looping video, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes today, I'm looking at reminding myself of the direction that I'm heading in. And so I'm going to use that technology. You can actually make a looping video on your YouTube channel, on your TV, through Amazon Pictures. And so use the technology for your achievement, habits, daily beliefs. You know, they talk about, oh, AI is going to ruin my business. No, a human being using AI is going to take your business. AI is not going to do it. AI is a tool that we can use. And now it's got to the point you have to adopt AI. Use it to your advantage. Just the other day, I put in ChatGPT. I want to gain 20 pounds. Can you please make me up a grocery list and a daily eating schedule so that I'm getting the proper amount of healthy calories to gain this weight together with my workout routine? ChatGPT, can you create a weight gaining training regimen for the week? Within 30 seconds, it had created a grocery list, foods that I needed to eat and that are healthy, fats and proteins for the gaining of healthy weight. And how much time did that save me as far as researching and coming together? So adopt AI to be used to create more time in your life, not to take up time, but to create more time so that you can do the proper habits and beliefs and actions you need to take so that your goals become a side effect, a byproduct of your daily habits and disciplines. Yeah, listen, everybody, I'm excited. I hope that this podcast added some value and that you can start adopting a brainwashing mentality where you can tell people, listen, I'm brainwashing myself today in a positive way. I'm radically changing how I believe. I'm radically changing the actions that I'm taking, the rituals and the habits that I do on a daily basis. I'm radically changing those because it's going to be moving me, it already is moving in the direction of my goals. And I've reversed engineered back to where I am today. I know where I am, where I want to go, and the steps I need to take to get there. My goal is the destination. My habits and beliefs are the vehicle that are going to get me there. Everybody, this is exciting. I hope you got something out of this podcast episode. I know I did. I'm actually going to re-listen to this because there is one portion that I am going to edit. And but you know what's good about that? Questions. Good questions, everybody. We can't talk about that enough. Ask empowering questions. What's good about this? I have to edit my video now. There was a part I want to take out. What's good about this? I get to listen to this stuff all over again. Think about it all over again. And maybe it's going to inspire in me new habits, new beliefs, then it's going to propel me even faster towards some of my goals and aspirations that are going to be a side effect, a byproduct of my daily disciplines. Oh man, damn it, I'm excited. I am really jazzed up to take on the rest of my day. As a matter of fact, I'm heading to the gym right now. It's a big leg day, big head deadlifting day, which is going to help me really promote overall body growth so I can get the size that I have a goal to get to. That belief system of doing that workout today, the discipline of getting to the gym and doing it, that's my vehicle for getting there, everybody. So listen, I'm walking the talk. I hope you are too. Please leave me a positive comment and share this video, this episode with someone who might need to hear it. If you want to help me and the show, all you have to do is, hey, listen, thumbs up, bang the subscribe button, share the video, leave a positive comment. I respond to all comments. My show, my channel is small enough. I can respond to every comment. Challenge me on this. I do. I'll leave you a reply. Listen, you know I love you. I will see you in the next episode.